As we're underway in this series, number 15 Clemson, mentioned they had a 2 next to their name just about 3 weeks ago and have since lost 3 consecutive ACC series. Not what we have been used to seeing from Clemson throughout not just this year, but really the past couple of seasons. The Tigers, certainly one of the powers not only in the ACC but nationally under head coach Eric Bakich, and they're trying to end the regular season on a high note before that conference tournament next week, Mitch. And with the expansion of the ACC, all 16 teams will be there in Durham.
Absolutely. And gone are the days of, pool play, and then you end up playing games that don't really matter for anyone because both teams are already knocked out of the tournament. It's a single elimination tournament. Every single game matters. Different coaches in the league have different opinions about whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's going to be interesting as a fan no matter what.
So Cam Canarella led off with the strikeout, well done by Patrick Gardner, and now it's Josh Pano who comes in on a 5-game hit streak. Senior third baseman from California for the Tigers.
Canarella not the best at bat, 3 quick pitches and disposed of by Patrick Gardner, but on the flip side, it's a great start for Patrick Gardner. It's something pitching as a whole has struggled with is walks and giving away free bases, and every single game you can't get behind in the count. You can't give away free stuff, especially to a team that's as talented and as opportunistic as Clemson. So that's a good start for Mike Bell's club.
So here's Pano, the senior third baseman. Leads the team in RBIs on the season. Comes into Clemson after 3 years at California Baptist. This is first year with the Tigers. 1-1 pitch taken for ball 2 here by Pano.
Career shortstop at Cal Baptist was Pano. Made the shift over to third base for the Tigers this season. And obviously has been pretty solid power threat. Neither of these teams really with a ton of home runs on the year. Only a couple guys on each team in double digits, but Pano has been that. When he hits them hard, he hits them hard, and they go a long way.
Yeah, these teams rank 14th and 15th, Clemson and Pitt respectively, in the home run category on the season. 2-2 breaks into the zone, Patrick. And he starts off with 2 Ks to begin his evening. Colin Priest in the 3 spot today for the Tigers, team that won their first 6 ACC series of the season. Number 2 in the country in late April and have struggled over the past 3 series. Of course, it is partially a testament to the strength of the conference. It's not an easy league to play in. And Gardner hits the knee there of Priest, and he's going to be the first Tiger base runner of the night.
You see Gardner a little bit frustrated there. He'd been going so well, been so sharp early on, and then gives up the hit by pitch there to Priest, and who's still kind of walking it off down the first base line. But that's one thing that Clemson has done well. We told you they don't have a huge power threat, but they get on base a ton. You see they lead the ACC in hit by pitches, and after that, it has been timely and opportunistic hitting that has scored a lot of runs for them this year.
Brings up Luke Gaffney with Priest now on first. Just missed on the outside there from Gardner. Gaffney, sophomore first baseman for the Tigers. He's been swinging a hot bag. See that season average at 287. And he's got 5 hits across his last 2 games.
Clemson's a team that they don't get blown out very much. Even the losses that they've had recently, they've been a lot of close games. So it's not as if the wheels just entirely fell off over the past few weeks. They're still in a lot of games. It's just, you know, like you said, it's a testament to the quality of teams that are in the ACC, top to bottom. Obviously, Pitt kind of towards the bottom of the ACC, but Coach Bakich was telling us earlier that, you know, when they play well, they can beat anybody. And I think that's pretty much true of every team in the ACC.
One-two outside, and Eric Bakich specifically referencing that in regards to the ACC.
You can turn a single or a walk or hit by pitch into a double, and that's something that, you know, for a Pitt team that sometimes has to manufacture runs, isn't going to string a ton of hard hit balls together all the time. That's something that Pitt really needs if they're going to continue to play throughout the postseason.
You know, achieving milestones is nice. When you get to do it in PNC Park, I think it makes it even better, right?
That's something special for sure. One of the most beautiful ballparks in the country, no doubt. And that's
Did you say one of the most?
Well, listen. I don't want to offend any other fan bases we have listening. I'm a Braves fan myself. I love Truist Park, but it's PNC is something special for sure. If you're ever in Pittsburgh, you got to catch a game.
Yeah, enjoy hearing Mike Bell's perspective on that. And he said a lot of people ask him what's special about playing over there at PNC, and he said it just allows his guys to become big leaguers for a day. A really neat experience for them to get to do that as Canuck strikes out Padano. And Mitch, we've seen 4 outs in this game, and they've all been strikeouts. A ball has not been put in play yet.
No, save for the one hit by pitch from Pat Gardner against Priest. I mean, it's been really clean. Obviously only threw 4 hitters, but 2 3-pitch strikeouts to some good leadoff hitters for both of these starting pitchers, and it's moving quickly through this one so far.
In a line out there, the ball is put in play by Caden Doolin, and quickly
shaded more towards second base than he normally would be, and 4 pitches and 2 outs for Aiden Canuck.
Brings up Luke Cantwell, senior veteran leader for the Panthers, plays at first base. And Cantwell, Mitch, you and I were talking before the game about him. He's very efficient at the plate, and earlier this season didn't quite have the power that he had last season, but starting to turn it on a little bit more as of late.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's not a stereotypical first baseman. You know, we talked about David Padano, stereotypical leadoff hitter. Luke Cantwell kind of functioned as a leadoff hitter for Pitt at times and was the leadoff hitter as well. He gets on base a ton.
An appeal down to third base there. Chris Booker says Cantwell did not go. 2-2 from Canuck. Another 2-2. And another foul ball by Luke Cantwell. This is what he does at the plate. He's persistent, grinds out at bats, and he ranks 3rd in the ACC in walks on the season.
Yeah, it's like I said, like he's not going to be a guy who tries to lift the ball out of the park every single time. You know, he views a walk as a win.
Swinging at strike 3. 2 strikeouts from the home pitch.
You know, the Big Ten in Michigan is like Northern baseball is not, you know, it's not the main focus, but it's he's done an incredible job throughout his entire career, and certainly the same can be said for his time at Clemson so far, and including this season.
That trip in 2019, the first time since 1966 a Big Ten team finished as the runner-up in the College World Series. So to your point, Mitch, you don't always see that from the northern schools in the Big Ten Conference. A testament to Eric Bakich and the job he did there with the Wolverines, and has had a very successful stint at Clemson so far. One of just 6 programs in the country to finish with 44 more wins in 2023 and 2024. So 44 wins or more, only 61 teams to do that. Clemson was one of them in each of the last 2 years. And they're a team that is a lock for the NCAA tournament. And as much as they've struggled recently, the fact that you can say they're still a lock tells you how good they were early in the season.
Well, they were borderline unbeatable for a while, but yeah, it's like we said at the top, you know, the ACC, top to bottom, you can lose any game, you can win any game on any given day, and you know, it's been close games and a couple things haven't gone their way. They've played some marathons, and it's just a tough league to play in. And you know, they're still one of the better teams in the country, but obviously struggled a little bit recently in the ACC.
Swing and a miss from Listy as Patrick Gardner continues to cook on the hill for the Panthers. 4 outs, all. Really impressive start from Gardner. His season high in strikeouts, by the way, is 6. So he's already 2/3 of the way there. We're in the top of the 2nd inning.
Listen, if you're going to start playing your best baseball and throwing your best stuff at any time in the season, of course, we're talking about it and he throws the ball to the backstop. But if you ever wanted to pick a time to figure things out and start throwing your best pitches anytime you want, right now is the time to do it if you're Pitt or if you're any team who's looking to make a little run in your conference tournament.
Hit the one you're looking for.
Back up the middle, off of Gardner. Zuckerman scoops it up barehanded and can't quite get it over to Cantwell in time. And Gardner is down. He's quickly back up, which is a good sign, but still going to have Mike Bell walk out and check on his starting pitcher.
Boy, that does not feel good for Pat Gardner. Looked like it got him right on the knee somewhere. Looked like maybe that left knee.
The Tigers.
Creighton is one of a number of Clemson Tigers who have connections to Michigan. And obviously, we talked about Eric Bakkich's time at Michigan and brought a couple of guys with him who were committed to Michigan when he got the Clemson job. And Creighton is one of those.
Guy in the on-deck circle as well, Jaron Purify from Detroit. Was talking to Coach Bakkich. A lot of guys that were thinking they were going to Ann Arbor ended up following Coach down to Clemson. One count here to Creighton on the outside. One away here in the top of the 2nd. 4 strikeouts for the Panthers starting left-hander Gardner. 4-4 record on the season for the senior. 2-1. Hard hit grounder to second. Doolin over to Kendro and throw to first, not in time, but the Panthers do get 1.
Doolin a little bit. You'll take the out and keep the base runner the same way, though.
Yeah, I think he knows he could have turned 2, but it was hit in a spot that forced him to move away from second base. And like you said, probably would have wanted that one back, but Panthers do get the 2nd out. And the first Panthers defensive out that was not a strikeout tonight. Hill, a good start for him.
Or whether you flip your hips and throw straight up to second base, it's going to be a tough ask with the ball taking you away from second base. But obviously, Doolin felt like he should have maybe done something different there.
Runner on the move, it's Creighton. Ryan Zuckerman to lead off the inning after Pitt went down in order in the first. Good pitching performances from both sides so far. We have seen 6 strikeouts in this game, and we're only through an inning and a half. 0-2 to Zuckerman. Swing and a miss. Aiden Knopf.
Fans will call an airbender. It's really just a changeup, but it just moves weird. I don't know how to explain it. You just have to watch it. And you know, most changeups will kind of fade away arm side a little bit, and his doesn't fade arm side. It kind of dives just straight down or almost to the glove side even at times.
Nice.
He had enough room to make that catch.
Yeah, tough play on this sunny night in Pittsburgh. He's battling the sun, battling the fence there in the foul territory, but yeah, I think as a fielder, anytime it grazes the glove, you want another chance, right?
No doubt about it. Just like Doolin with that double play turn last inning for Pitt. Probably going to want that one back.
Nestler thought about it. Takes it for ball 2.
Normally on these pop flies, you'd be battling the wind here at Charles L. Coffey Field. And you've seen that wreak some havoc on some visiting teams and on Pitt as well throughout the year. But pretty calm, quiet night here wind-wise.
Strike 3 looking on net.
Canuck will not make any arguments with the call. That's a heck of a pitch executed for a strike.
And you love to see this start from Aiden Canuck. Talked about how good he was last year, and for a large portion of this season was pitching at an elite level as well. 7-1 record on the year, but does have a 5.49 ERA across his last 7 coming into this one. So has been a little bit more vulnerable than we saw last year. And so tonight, Eric Bakich certainly has to be pleased with 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings for his sophomore right-hander. And this time a 4-pitch walk to Sebastian Pisacreta.
Well, maybe Canuck saw our scouting report on Pisacreta swinging a hot bat. Nothing really close to the zone there from Canuck, and Pisacreta is aboard. 2 outs, runner on first. We'll see what Lorenzo Carrier can do with it.
You think he might have watched the Open tonight?
Maybe he might have. You know, they got PitchCom devices. Who's to say you can't put the ACC network on there?
Well, good to see Lorenzo Carrier back in the starting lineup for the Panthers. He missed about 18 games across April due to a hamstring. Back in the lineup for Pitt, and a really big hit for him in that Tuesday game at PNC Park. Had his first home run since returning from injury, and Mike Bell telling us how big that was for his confidence to display his power again. And you know what he's capable of doing. He's a transfer from Miami, so you've seen in the ACC over the years just how much damage Carrier can do on the offensive side. That was a big homer for him on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I mean, Pitt's going to love to see that back. We mentioned how they haven't had a ton of power threats, and if Carrier can get going late in the season, hit some more balls like he did at PNC Park this week, and Pitt's going to be pretty happy with that. He's a guy that when you watch batting practice, it's like, oh, this is a different kind of guy with a different kind of swing. Ball just jumps off of his bat to all parts of the park.
Big 6'5" frame from Lorenzo Carrier, the redshirt junior, originally from Delaware. And he faces the 1-2 from Canuck. And just foul down third base.
I think that might have been the changeup again from Canuck, because Carrier was pretty far out in front of that. His front foot landed, and then he had to pause for a second. It's worked just like everything's been working for Aiden Canuck. Aiden Canuck is feeling that changeup, and that's bad news for the Pitt lineup.
Panthers still looking for their first hit of the night. Canuck looked like he went back to the changeup again, Mitch, and he gets strike 3.
Some kind of off speed there. Looked like maybe a curveball, but whatever it was, it's worked just like everything's been working for Aiden Canuck.
Often here in the ACC portion of the season provides you that chance in interesting perspective when you have the last at bat. He didn't necessarily say the physical advantages of being at home, being in front of your home crowd, but the baseball advantages of having the last at bat, getting the opportunity, and then what those walk-off wins can do for your culture and the morale among your team.
Yeah, it's an interesting perspective for a team like Pitt, who, you know, if you're up north, as far north as Pitt is, you have to start early in the season on the road, and maybe that gives you a chance to come together as a team. But you're right, it doesn't afford you the opportunity to come back late in games all the time. And Pitt's had a few comeback wins, a few walk-off wins as of recent, and there's nothing that builds your confidence more than getting a walk-off win, coming from behind to win a game. And they've done that a few times. They've also had a couple of blowout wins. Obviously, earlier this week against Penn State at PNC Park was a huge 15-1 win for them. So it's the right time for Pitt to find their confidence as they head into the ACC tournament.
That one got away from.
This when Clemson gets hit by a pitch, they are jogging or if not sprinting down to first base. They love it. They love getting guys on base.
And speaking of guys getting on base, Chufo is going to take the opportunity to take second. Andrew Chufo gives the Tigers a runner in scoring position. And Clemson team, we talked about it, they don't have too much power, Mitch, but once again, 2 hit batters tonight. They rank first in that category on the season in the ACC, and they've kind of mastered this small ball approach. It's not too often you see a team ranked 14th in the ACC in batting average, but number 15 in the polls in the country.
Yeah, it's something that, like, you know, you can have off nights, but if you can manufacture your own runs and
Gardner has been in tonight through 2 innings. Cam Canarella smokes one into left field. Chufo comes around. Panthers hit the cutoff in Zuckerman, and the base hit does not score the run from second. So you've got runners on the corners now, but the problem for the Panthers is still nobody out here. And in doing so, Canarella extends his hit streak to 13 games and now a 35-game on-base streak for the junior center fielder from Hartsville, South Carolina, Cam Canarella. Think about a guy like Canarella from South Carolina, former ACC Freshman of the Year. He's got to be pretty close to mayor status in Clemson, right?
He's got a probably free meals anywhere he wants to go in Clemson. I mean, it's a school and a town that loves their baseball, and I mean, what better guy to embody the kind of fighting spirit that this Clemson team has? He is just so much fun to watch. He's a spark plug. I mean, he is the dictionary definition of a spark plug. Makes unbelievable catches, puts his body on the line in center field, gets hit by pitches, walks, slapping singles to all parts of the field. He's got a little bit of pop in there too, so he's really a well-rounded baseball player and going to have a bright future at the next level.
ACC Freshman of the Year in 2023. Could argue he was maybe the best freshman in the country. 97 hits was the most among D1 freshmen in that 2023 season. Gardner is keeping an eye on him over at first. It's a 1-2 count to Josh Payno. Payno looks at ball too low. With runners in scoring position on the season, he's hitting .353.
And that's how Clemson's been scoring their runs. You know, when they have runners on base, people have been just coming through for them. I mean, Payno is obviously an incredible batting average of runners in scoring position, but really up and down the lineup, you see a lot of clutch, timely hitting from this Clemson team.
Two-two count. Gardner to Payno with runners on the corners for Clemson and another foul ball. And Gardner made it look easy through the first 2 innings of this game. Of course, he did take a shot to the left shin, but aside from that, he's been efficient. Now some trouble in the third inside, and he hits Payno to load the bases.
Things starting to unravel a little bit for Pat Gardner here. I mean, a couple of free.
Haven't seen any visible effects from that ball to the shin, but it's unfortunate that he took it, because now you're going to continue to wonder what if that hadn't happened. After the start he got off to, I mean, that was the turning point, and has struggled since taking that ball to the shin, and now the struggles continue here into the top of the third.
Yeah, it's a fair question to ask, whether he's still kind of feeling that a little bit. I mean, he's a tough kid. He's not going to want to come out of the game by any means. He's going to want to fight through it. He's a competitor, like we said at the beginning. But yeah, I think you got to ask the question of if he's still feeling that a little bit. And you know, pitching is such a mental thing. Like, if there's some part of your body that just feels a little bit different today than it normally does, it can throw you off quite a bit. And obviously he's hit a couple batters since being hit himself. You got to wonder whether that's still impacting him a little bit.
It was off the single from Jacob Jarrell in the second. That was the first Clemson hit of the night, and so now Panthers have to deal with a lot of Clemson traffic. We'll see what they can do. Colin Priest, 3-hitter for the Tigers. Great opportunity, lines out to Kendro, and that's a great start for Gardner. And
gets the first out of the inning, a very loud out off the bat of Priest.
Yeah, loud out, but pretty much an ideal out for the Panthers. Only required Gardner to throw one pitch, and gets it out there. No movement on the base paths, and now Zuckerman will decide to go to second. In the turn, the pick from Cantwell, but not quite in time. So Panthers were nearly able to turn two and get out of this unharmed, but Chufo does. And it is a double play. Wow, okay. So the double play is the official ruling from the umpires here. And Mitch, you and I may be surprised by that one, but hey, Mike Bell will certainly take it.
It's hard to tell without talking to him and getting his thoughts, but it seemed like just a simple human error. And in explaining it to Mike Bell, he kind of realized, oh, I might have made the wrong signal here. And all is returned, and it is as we thought it was. For a second there, I thought we were watching those replays and getting the wrong read on what we were seeing, but
yeah, and it is important to point out the umpires are not necessarily looking at the same angles that we are seeing here. So for a moment I thought, well, maybe they're looking at a different angle that makes him look out at first. And so glad that it does appear the right call was made, and Clemson leading 1-0 now with those two runners still on and two away here in the top of the third. Nice spot from Gardner, and Gaffney takes second with Canarella over on third.
Yeah, Gaffney trying to make something happen there a little bit. Kind of ran a little steal and stop there. Kind of stopped halfway to second base, trying to induce a throw from Pisacreta to allow Canarella, the big hustle guy, to come home. Maybe as the throw goes down to second, but Pisacreta didn't bite, and looks like Pat Gardner might be out of this inning.
Jake Kendro makes the catch in shallow center. It was bases loaded, nobody out. Clemson only on the score sheet first. Oh-2 quickly to Melendez, who pops it up in the shallow right center field. Canarella is over for the easy catch and the first Clemson out.
That ball's hit about a mile in the air off the bat of Melendez. Cam Canarella didn't need that much time to get over there. He's a very efficient route runner in the outfield, able to camp under it easily. And Aiden Canuck continuing to work, continuing to deal and be very efficient about it. Only 32 pitches through 3 1/3 already. That's that'll play in any league on any night, and continues it here with a strike to Kendro. But the fastball velo is kind of down, I think, from what we expected to see from Canuck, but still been just as effective with the changeup, the fastball, and then working in the curveball every now and then as well.
And he forces another pop-up here, this one over to first with Gaffney, who makes the catch. And you are absolutely right, Mitch. He is looking near flawless on the hill through 2 2/3 here in his 14th start of the season.
It's all about efficiency. Pitching is all about efficiency and working ahead and being able to throw your entire arsenal of pitches and not being forced to throw a certain pitch in a certain count. And Aiden Canuck is absolutely dialed in right now.
Yeah, look at the mentality, too. He's standing there, balling glove, waiting for the batter to step into the box. And he just seems to be, like you said, dialed in. And he does it every pitch. Padano's taking his time, but Canuck just looks comfortable, confident for a sophomore. Really impressive mentality he's got on the mound.
Yeah, he doesn't even take any step. You see Mike Bell coming to talk to Padano here, trying to slow it down a little bit. Canuck has not moved a muscle. I mean, I don't know how much more in the zone you can get than Aiden Canuck right now. This is it's almost funny, but it's also impressive. Like,
you got to tip your cap to him.
Just a sophomore. Look, his catcher's not even.
He's not
looking
budging.
at him. Jarrell is just taking his time, stretching his legs out a little bit. Canuck is not moving. I mean, he is as locked in as humanly possible right here.
He really is. Now he begins that windup with an 0-2 to Padano. Check swing, and he did not go.
Obviously, we're in the pitch clock era, but I don't even know if they've gotten to turn on the pitch clock for Canuck. He's been working so quickly.
Yes. Now a 1-2. Got him swinging. Aiden Canuck is locked in with 6 strikeouts for Clemson through 3 innings.
Can't say enough about Aiden Canuck throwing that changeup, getting some change. Obviously, you saw the home run numbers. He's equaled his previous 2 years combined home runs. And just this season alone, he has really come on strong in his 3rd year with the program.
Back up the middle again, and again converts. Jacob Jarrell gets his 2nd hit of the night. Both of them right up the middle for Clemson.
And if I'm Pat Gardner, I'm thinking twice before I throw him anything in the zone anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 pitches hit almost identically right back up the middle. Gardner kind of reached for that with his glove hand and almost got there, kind of looked down at his glove afterwards and was like, just missed it. But good job by Jarrell. Just not trying to do too much, just sending it right back where it came from. That's going to give you good results most of the time.
Brings up Jack Crichton. He had that ground ball to second base back in the 2nd inning, which nearly resulted in a double play for the Panthers. Crichton, the junior, in his 3rd year with Clemson. Highly touted 3rd baseman out of high school, now playing right field for the Tigers. Pitch outside there from Gardner to make it 1-2. Away, and Crichton connects on it to right field, but Carrier is over to make the catch.
Lorenzo Carrier playing right field. He's got his sunglasses on top of his hat, not on his face. Kind of fighting the sun a little bit there. Obviously didn't have any issues catching that ball, but it's a questionable choice always when you're looking straight into the sun and got your sunglasses right on top of your head. But hey, if it works, he caught the ball.
Ball went in the glove,
complain too much.
right? You're right, though. You can see the sun beaming off his glasses there. Only interesting thing is the glasses are atop the cap. Jaron Purify for Clemson. Tigers' 2nd baseman having a sensational year. Big leap from last year. Hit only .248 in his freshman season. Has that up to .291 as he looks at strike 2. Purify, another co-captain on this Clemson team.
Yeah, the guys up the middle on this Clemson defense, Jarrell behind the plate, Purify, Chufo up the middle in the infield, and then Canarella in center field. I mean, people talk about traditionally the heart of your defense right up the middle is the heart of your team, and they embody that perfectly.
Chase to pitch on the outside. Kendro makes the play at second for the second out.
Well, a third tough turn for the Pitt Panthers and not able to get it there. Purify, though, he runs really well. It was very little chance that they were going to get that double play turned, but like I was saying a minute ago, to finish that thought, I mean, the heart of the defense is the heart of the team, and Clemson is certainly exemplifies that with those guys they have up the middle, both on the defensive side of the ball and on the offense as well. And got to see Purify run a little bit there. He's as smooth and as quick of an athlete as you're going to see on any baseball diamond.
23 stolen bags on the year for Jaron Purify. Good for 7th in the ACC. And because of that, Gardner wisely keeping an eye on him over at first base. And now he's on the move. Throw down from Pisacreta is too high for Doolin. And he is in.
Year from that catcher spot, but not able to do it there.
Chufo down the third baseline. Purify is going to score easily, and Andrew Chufo is in with a stand-up double.
Going to just put some hits together, timely hits, and manufacture some runs.
And how about those runs coming from the 8 and 9 hitters in the Clemson order there, with Purify reaching and getting himself in scoring position before Chufo sends him in.
Well, you'll take that every day of the week, turning that lineup over, getting from the 9 back to the top of the order for the Tigers. And if you put a run across, that's even better.
Cam Canarella quickly down 0-2. Opportunity for Clemson to increase that lead. 4 hits now on the night for the Tigers. One of those from Canarella in the third. Inside, he looks at ball 1. Guy who burst onto the scene with a .388 batting average his freshman year. .316 here in his junior season. The 1-2 fouls it off to stay alive.
And as efficient as Canuck has been for Clemson, having that pitch count down really low, Gardner's starting to work into the 70s in pitch count so far through 3 2/3 and continuing to have a battle here with Canarella. That pitch count starting to come up a little bit. No movement at all to speak of in the Pitt Panthers bullpen, though.
Really big at bat here. Gardner trying to get out of the inning. Canarella wants to extend it with a runner in scoring position inside. Almost looked like that for their first hit of the night.
It was close, but Gardner's been working Canarella inside quite a bit. But Canarella almost took what looked like it might have been a defensive swing there, but able to hold it back and has worked the count all the way full, come all the way back.
Payoff. Tapped into left field, retreating is Nestler, and makes the impressive catch there near the track to keep the margin. And every game's going to be high stakes.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, baseball, anything can happen. Probably in baseball more than any other sport. I mean, you just need one pitcher to have a good night, and all of a sudden, as an underdog, you're comfortably winning baseball games. So certainly as a fan, it's going to be a really interesting tournament. Obviously, every game is high stakes. None of these teams are going to want to go home, but there's maybe some teams towards the top of the league that say, hey, or maybe in the middle of the league that say, hey, we need a little protection here. We want to advance, win a couple of games, and have more chances in the tournament to win those couple of games instead of just one and done. So it's certainly, we get mixed feelings on it from both of the head coaches here tonight. But I think as a fan, this is what you want to see. There's never going to be a meaningless game in the ACC baseball tournament this year.
Well, it's what makes the postseason so exciting in a lot of sports, where you have that do or die one game scenario. And you know, you can debate all you want about what is best for the teams and what is the most fair and what will result in truly the best team winning. But I think one thing is certain, and that's that it makes it most exciting for fans when it comes down to one game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's, you know, conference baseball tournaments, if you've never been to one, they're just so much fun. I mean, if you love baseball, there's nothing better than getting 3 or 4 games in one day. You can just stay at the ballpark all day, soak in the sun, and watch some good baseball, certainly in college.
You've done it before?
Several times.
Yeah.
Several times. Been to several conference tournaments, and usually at a cool park. Obviously, ACC in Durham at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park. It's an excellent stadium. Was there just a few weeks ago. And
good take by Cantwell there to draw the walk. Canuck put it in an excellent spot, but Luke Cantwell knows how to get on base. Does so there and gives the Panthers a runner here in the bottom half of the 4th.
yeah, Cantwell has one of the best eyes in the league, maybe in the country. On base percentage has been up over 500 at several points this year, and not a huge base stealing threat, but can't score runs unless you get runners on base, and he's been excellent at that for Pitt this year.
Cantwell with a .504 on base percentage coming into tonight, which is good for 2nd in the conference. I mean, every time he steps to the plate, he's getting on base 1 out of every 2 times.
I mean,
that'll do.
That will absolutely do at any level. I mean, they made a whole Hollywood movie about that, about getting on base, called Moneyball, if you haven't seen it. But yeah, that's the name of the game. Like I said, you can hit all the home runs that you want, but if they're solo home runs, they don't count for very much, just the 1 run. But this guy Zuckerman has put a few over the wall this year, and with Cantwell in front of him, they're much more likely to be multi-RBI home runs than solo.
What does he do, Pete? Tell me what he does.
He gets on base.
That's an all-timer. Two here from Canuck to Zuckerman. Tucked him in. Tough one for Clemson. Throw from Pano is just in time. Nice play by the Clemson third baseman to charge and beat Zuckerman by a hair over at first.
I was just thinking about a bunt that heck of a job there by Pano, the career shortstop. Shows you the versatility and athleticism and the unique arm angle as well to get that throw on time over to Gaffney at first base.
Now Nestler, a chopper over to first base. Tough play, and it gets away from Gaffney. Nestler's aboard.
I think Gaffney's going to want that one back for sure. I mean, it's a tough play, kind of an in-between hop. It took a huge hop and then landed kind of directly in front of Gaffney at first base, who was kind of behind the bag. And you think maybe he'd like to almost act like a catcher a little bit. Gaffney has caught a couple games this year. Kind of block it up, keep it in front of you, which, to be fair, he did a good job of, but then just couldn't handle it, trying to pick it
away, and then it looked like he had it again. It got away again, and ends with runners on the corners for the Panthers. 2 away. Pittsburgh still does not have a hit tonight, but this is their best opportunity to add one in the run department.
And Pisacrete is probably the guy you want up in this situation with the way he's been swinging it recently.
That one drifts into foul territory over at third. You're absolutely right. Told you about Sebastian Pisacrete in the open tonight. with a .471 average across his last 5 games. Coming off a 3-for-4 night Tuesday at PNC Park with a double and 3 runs driven in. Big spot here for him. Pisacreta, a .309 average with runners in scoring position on the season. Good 2-1 just missed from Canuck.
Boy, that wasn't by much.
No.
Just barely off the inside part of the plate. Good eye from Pisacreta, who's now in an advantageous position, up 3-1 in the count.
And got a piece of that one from Canuck. And we were talking during the break, Mitch. His changeup and his curve look so similar. What was that one from you?
Yeah, it looked like a changeup.
Yeah.
At 74. I mean, he doesn't throw the curveball a ton, but that changeup is as good as any pitch in the country.
And he gets Pisacreta for the 3rd out. And the Panthers stay scoreless. Aiden Canuck, the sophomore right-hander.
Play tonight.
Hard hit ball to 3rd, fielded cleanly by Zuckerman. Nice job by the Panther infielder. But you're absolutely right on Canuck, and has to be good for Eric Bakich to see, Clemson head coach. He's got his ace performing very well going into the conference tournament. Canuck with a career 12-2 record. And just a sophomore, Hayden Canuck, throwing a gem for the Tigers here tonight. Colin Priest now at the plate here in the top of the 5th.
One more note on Canuck. It's not just the games that he gets decisions in. Obviously, you said the 12-2 career record, but even in games where he doesn't get a decision, Clemson is still 24-4 in those games. I mean, to get a no decision and still do well enough to have your team win, he's certainly gets some run support, but he has just been a phenomenon since the day he stepped on campus in South Carolina.
And got to give the current pitcher some credit here as well. Patrick Gardner has done a pretty nice job for the Panthers through 4 1/3, just 2 Clemson runs, has worked out of a couple tricky situations, 4 Clemson hits. Tigers have left 5 on base throughout the night.
Yeah, Gardner maybe not quite so efficient, but still been doing a really good job keeping this Pitt team in the game. Has done that a few times, hit a couple batters, got a couple of walks in there, but when runners have gotten on base, he's done a relatively good job of keeping them from scoring. Only the 2 runs so far. And Pat Gardner kind of doing what he's done all year and kind of having to grind through a start, throw a lot of pitches, but overall keeping the other team off the scoreboard.
Well, and remember, 3rd inning was bases loaded, nobody out, and Gardner managed to get out of it with just 1 Clemson run allowed. Definitely a couple moments tonight in the 3rd and 4th innings where looked like the Tigers had an opportunity to really break this thing open, and Gardner's done a nice job limiting the damage here. Now 1 on 1 out in the 5th. And quickly gets ahead 0-2 on Luke Gaffney. Luke Gaffney, hitter for the Tigers, transferred in from Purdue. This is his first season at Clemson after 2 years as a Boilermaker. Gardner just missed. And pardon me, just 1 year at Purdue for Gaffney. He's a sophomore for the Tigers, but it was a very productive freshman year for Luke Gaffney, Big Ten Freshman of the Year a season ago. And swings at strike 3. Gardner with his 5th strikeout of the night for the second Panther out of the inning.
Well, Gardner wanted the strikeout looking on the pitch before. Didn't miss by much, but season gets his 5th strikeout. We said his career high is 6, right? So he's been doing some things that he doesn't normally do, but it's been effective.
Really solid night for Patrick Gardner. First season at Pitt for him, and it's going to be some pressure, huh? You come to a new program in the ACC after being at FDU and immediately thrown into the Friday starter role.
Yeah, quite a bit of pressure, but it's the type of thing that Patrick Gardner kind of lives for, right? Like, he's a very energetic guy. He was a teammate of Luke Cantwell's at FDU, and both of them are kind of similar personalities. They're both really fired up, really confident guys who kind of bring a lot of energy when they're on the field, and something that this Pitt team needs.
Gardner doing a good job finding the zone. 1-2 to Listy, swings at strike 3. Bit of a pitcher's duel developing here at Charles. So we'll see what the rest of Canucks night has in store. He has not gone a full start without giving up an earned run since back in March, when 7 flawless innings against Notre Dame. Against the Irish, gave up only 1 hit on March 14th. No earned runs to Notre Dame in that one, and well on his way to another very efficient start here tonight in Pittsburgh. One-two count to Lorenzo Carrier. Swings at strike 3. Aiden Canuck with his 8th strikeout of the ball game.
There, but his fastball is normally 91, 92, somewhere like that, and the changeup is in the mid-70s. That's normally you get about 10 miles an hour off your fastball when you throw your changeup. Canuck, it's more like 13, 14, 15 miles an hour off the fastball at times. And that's another part of what makes that changeup so effective, and it's clearly working tonight.
Melendez grounder to Pano. The throw is short, but it is picked by Gaffney. I'll tell you what, Mitch, you and I have seen some elite pitching performances at this field. Remember last year?
Last year, that was a great one. Jamie Arnold,
yeah,
coming up from Florida State. Made 1 mistake the entire evening. Pitt ended up winning the game. Gave up a solo home run. It was Cantwell, I believe, that hit it to the opposite field.
His strikeout total was approaching 20.
Yeah,
game,
I believe, yeah, 16, 17, something like that.
Up there.
He's only continued that success this year for Florida State. He's something to watch.
He got the loss.
And he took the loss. Yeah, 1 bad pitch all night. Baseball is a cruel game, but
sure is.
If you haven't seen Florida State play the first game of any of their series, you're missing out. He is something special.
Yeah. As is this guy here tonight, Aiden Canuck. First team All-ACC a season ago, having another excellent year for the Clemson Tigers. 0-2 to Kendro here with 2 away. Just missed off the outside. One, 2 again, and again. Merrill already with 2 hits to his name. Goes deep to right center field. Big blast for the Tiger catcher to put him up 3-0. No run support from the Panthers. No hits for Pittsburgh through 5. Aiden Canuck has been outstanding. And down to Zuckerman, makes the hard throw over to first. Jaron purified too quick, and he beats it out. Still no outs here in the 6th. And another bunt here from Chufo. Gardner goes to third and gets the first out.
That's a big time play from Gardner to get that lead runner at third base, and Chufo's going to want that bunt back. Just a perfect one hopper directly back to Gardner.
Yeah.
And obviously Gardner being a lefty has a little bit of an advantage throwing that ball over to third base. Doesn't have to turn his body like a right-handed pitcher would, and able to make the throw relatively easily over to Zuckerman to get the lead runner by a couple of steps. And same situation as the last batter, but now one more out on the scoreboard.
Yeah, so didn't quite get the bunt in the spot he wanted there for Chufo, but Clemson's still in a great spot. They've got the 3-run lead and 2 on with 1 out. Meanwhile, Gardner's pitch count continues to climb up to 94 now after that one here for Cam Canarella, who's down 0-2 and is 1 for 3 on the night.
Canarella last time up hit a ball really hard to left field that I think both of us thought was going to get over the head of the left fielder Nestler. Was able to make a play on it, but just speaks to that, you know, as for Pat Gardner seeing the lineup for the 3rd time and now the 4th time he's faced Canarella. You know, guys start to get a feel for what you're going to do when you face them, and makes it a little bit easier for the hitters.
Just missed on the outside there, works it back to 2-2. Canarella with 2 aboard. This is the guy you want in the batter's box if you're Clemson. Hard hit grounder, tough play for Cantwell, gets through. Purify will come around and he will score to make it 4-0 Clemson as the offensive rally for the Tigers continues here in the 6th inning.
Canarella to Cantwell. Canarella wins that one.
And Clemson really starting to drive some offense together here in the 6th inning. It is now an 8-0 disparity in the hits column on the night. And wasn't a bad night necessarily from Patrick Gardner to start, but when you go so long and you don't get any run support, makes it tough on the hill to keep it going, knowing you got to be pretty much flawless to keep your team in the game. And so Gardner has had to deal with that, and ultimately kind of reaches a tipping point here in the 6th with Clemson adding 2 with 2 still on and just 1 out.
Yeah, and you'd like to think as a pitcher you wouldn't be affected too much by what your offense is doing, but I mean, you're not in a vacuum. You're going into the dugout after working your tail off to limit Clemson to 1 or no runs, and even with a bunch of runners on base, and eventually that kind of starts to wear on you a little bit if you're not getting any run support from your team. And seems to be what's happening with Gardner, throwing his 100th pitch for a strike, though.
Strike 3 called there to Pano, and he goes down looking for his 2nd strikeout of the night. 7 for Patrick Gardner on the hill, and he is 100 pitches into his night.
Just painted a fastball to Pano on the corner, inside corner. Seen that inside corner kind of go either way tonight in terms of whether it's called a strike or a ball. That time called a strike. Gardner, hey, we said he was going to do this, right? We said he would throw as many pitches as necessary to keep his team in the game.
Yeah.
Obviously in a little bit of a jam here. Has given up a couple of runs this inning, but got 2 outs, and if he can get through the 6th, I think Mike Bell will be pretty pleased, giving up only 4 runs to this Clemson team, and will be looking to his offense to kind of, hey, you see Pat Gardner out there giving it his all and going up against the number 15 team in the country. It's time for the bats to start heating up a little bit for Pittsburgh, if you're Mike Bell.
Colin Priest here, just 0 for 1 on the night. This is his 4th plate appearance, but hit by a pitch in the 1st and a walk in the 5th. creased. Grounder. Doolin is deep into right field. Spins, makes the throw just in time. Bang, bang play at first. Mike Bell raises his fist in celebration, but not before 2 Clemson Tiger runs. And it's
anywhere near the batter's box. But the thing about Canuck, his demeanor on the mound has been so good tonight. I mean, he's just been comfortable from pitch 1 all the way now to pitch 70. He has not been fazed by anything at all. And why would he be? I mean, he's been retiring these pit batters almost at will. He has been excellent tonight for the Tigers.
I mean, I'm not even in the batter's box, and I'm a little bit intimidated by those 2 eyes peering over the top of the glove there, huh?
Yeah, he is as locked in as it gets. And we've seen him earlier this year. There's a memorable moment from the South Carolina series when he got a strikeout and kind of stared down the guy that he struck out as he walked off the field, who I believe was a former Clemson Tiger himself. But he's got some intimidating eyes peering over the top of that glove, like you said, and it's backed up by some incredible pitches that he's thrown tonight.
And there it is, double-digit strikeouts for Aiden Canuck as David Padano goes down for the 3rd time tonight, swinging in all 3 of his strikeouts to Canuck.
And it's not just the strikeouts either. Like, Pitt hasn't hit a ball really hard all night. Like, there hasn't been a ball barreled up by this Panthers team the entire night. So even when they do put the ball in play, it's been pretty comfortable for Clemson for the most part.
Yeah, it's been an easy night for Clemson's defense, that's for sure.
Canuck, to his motion, like, there's no wasted movement at all. It is so crisp and concise. His arm action isn't long. It's very short and pretty direct, straight to the plate. And very repeatable, which is kind of speaks to the efficiency that he's had tonight. His mechanics are efficient, and his performance tonight has been very efficient.
0-2 to Doolin. Just missed on the 76th pitch of the night for Aiden Canuck. Caden Doolin with a line out and a ground out. .337 hitter on the year.
Yeah, Doolin may be the one guy who's barreled up a ball off a Canuck today. Handled that line out to Purify at second base. Hit the ball hard at first pitch he saw, but obviously right at the Clemson defense. And Clemson's been really good defensively all year, so no surprise that tonight when they have had to work, they've been able to handle it.
That one was hard hit to Pano at 3rd, double clutched it and still got it over to Gaffney in time for the 2nd out.
Well, you watch Pano play defense and you can see why he was a shortstop for a lot of his career in college, and he's got real smooth hands, clean footwork, and a strong arm to go with it. He's pretty fun to watch playing the field like a lot of this Clemson team is.
Through 5 2/3, and the Pitt Panthers are still hitless here on this series opening game. Can Luke Cantwell be the one to change it? That one's popped into shallow left. Listy comes in. 6 hitless innings executed by Aiden Canuck. Clemson's pitcher having his way.
ACC.
So Gardner heads back to the dugout after 6 innings of work here in this series opener. And definitely gave the Panthers some length, and that's important for Mike Bell. Of course, Mitch, he talked to us about how he's going to have to be strategic about his pitching decisions with that ACC tournament looming on Tuesday. And Panthers are in a scenario here as Brian hits Gaffney and sends him to first base, but Panthers in a scenario where most likely their only real shot at making the NCAA tournament would be by winning the ACC championship and getting the automatic bid. And so because of that, in a spot here where, yes, you obviously want to perform this weekend against Clemson, you want to try and get the wins and adjust your seeding perhaps for next week. But at the end of the day, if they want to extend their season, it's going to require a deep run next week in Durham.
No doubt about it. And, you know, obviously, as it stands now, Pitt would be playing early on in that tournament. So you're right. Mike Bell was telling us how he's got to kind of think a little bit differently, knowing that he's got to play early next week. And if he wants a chance to bring his team into the postseason, he's going to have to play for pretty much all of next week. So we'll see how that affects his decisions on what pitching to bring in. Obviously, I feel like that's the biggest issue when you talk about saving guys and bringing certain guys in, is the pitching. I mean,
yeah,
it's hard to have a really deep pitching rotation. There's not very many teams in the country who have, you know, top to bottom starters through the end of the bullpen, a consistent group of quality arms in the pitching department. So this is where managers make the big bucks.
Listy with a hard hit ball into right field. Good for his first hit of the night. Now 6 different Tigers have recorded a hit in the ball game. And Clemson really starting to take control here of this game. Mentioned the hit disparity. It's now at 9-0 in favor of the Tigers. And this is just all around good baseball by Eric Bakkich's team, really when they need it most. Talked about in the open, 2-8 in their last 10. Desperate to get back on track headed into the postseason, and this is one step in the right direction to open the series. And still a few innings left to play, but they have looked dominant on both sides in this game.
Well, there's a theory in college baseball circles known as the hot, cold, hot theory, which says that if you start off the year hot and then you have a little bit of a cold spell and then you get hot again towards the end of the year, that sets you up for success in the postseason. And obviously Clemson is leaving the cold part of that a little bit late in the year, but certainly this series and then next week in the tournament, if they're able to continue to play good baseball, they will fit that hot, cold, hot theory perfectly and might be poised to make a deep run if you believe in that theory. Not saying you have to do that, but.
Well, it was interesting to hear each coach's philosophy on how to approach this weekend with the conference tournament next week, and kind of contrasting philosophies from each side. You've got Mike Bell, as we talked about, really thinking about next week and that allowing some influence on his pitching decisions this weekend, whereas Eric Bakkich just told us they will do whatever they can to make sure they come away with wins this weekend here in Pittsburgh, and they're not really even thinking about Durham next week.
Yeah, I believe the exact words were, "We're not laying up. We are selling out completely."
Yeah.
To win this series. And, you know, they're in different, it's 2 teams in different situations, right? I mean, Clemson is certainly a lock for the NCAA tournament. Pitt would have to make that deep run, like you said, next week in Durham. But Clemson, I think, more so looking to just play some good baseball and do what they were doing earlier in the year to kind of give them a little bit more confidence and momentum heading into the important part of the season.
Jarrell swings at high, strike 3. Not what we've seen from him tonight. He was 3 for 3 coming into that AB, but much needed for Sam Bryan to record his first out.
Yeah, Sam Bryan allowed a couple base runners early, but it's a big strikeout of Jarrell. Similar pitch to the one he hit out. It was a fastball up and away, but Sam Bryan, as a righty, has quite a bit of arm side run on his fastball. Kind of tailed back across the plate, and Jarrell couldn't do anything with it.
Sam Bryan, first season at Pitt. He transferred in after 2 years at Parkland College, D2 school in Illinois. Bryan's got a 5.93 ERA on the year, but has gotten a little bit better over his last 3 outings. Only 1 earned run across all 3. Now 2-0, Creighton fouls it off himself. And you know, if you're watching what Clemson has done tonight and you see the 10 strikeout performance from Aiden Canuck, and find yourself maybe wondering how they've lost 8 of their last 10 games. And a lot of it has to do with what we might see the rest of the weekend. The rest of the starting pitching staff for Clemson has not quite been as stable and as reliable as Canuck. So you're looking at probably Drew Titsworth tomorrow for the Tigers, sophomore right-hander, and he has struggled in his recent starts. And Saturday is just a TBD now for the Clemson Tigers starter. And so as efficient and as excellent as Canuck has been tonight, Mike Bell and the Panthers likely going to face some easier tests on the hill for Clemson over the next couple of days.
Well, the bullpen is really the strength of this Clemson pitching staff. I mean, it's like you said, Canuck has been by far the most consistent and successful starter for them. They've kind of rotated some guys around. Titsworth has been the guy recently to start the second game of the series, usually on Saturdays. This week it'll be on Fridays, but we'll see what they do and see how long they allow him to go. Maybe thinking about the tournament next week a little bit. But Titsworth, a guy who started as a bullpen arm, was preseason one of the better, expected to be one of the better bullpen arms in the country, and was solid out of the bullpen. But it's a really crowded bullpen for Clemson. They've got a lot of guys that can perform in a lot of spots, and have moved Titsworth into that game 2 starting role, and kind of to mixed results, as you mentioned.
You've got 13 different guys that have started. Caden Doolin making a big time play to keep it at 4-0. It's time to stretch here in the 7th. Tonight, of course, 2 more games to play in this series. And Mitch, a lot of ball left to be played for the Panthers, but you just wonder at times if things had gotten clicking a little bit sooner, what this team could have achieved this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, sure, the end of the season is the ideal time to figure things out and start playing your best baseball, but I'm sure Mike Bell would have wanted his club to start doing that maybe a little bit earlier in the season. He was talking to us about kind of the lack of rhythm and lack of momentum they've gotten. Just they've had a lot of games rained out, snowed out, colded out, just dealing with the weather a lot this year, and haven't been able to get guys into a rhythm. And speaking of being in a rhythm, Aiden Canuck, just he could be facing the New York Yankees right now, and I think he'd be just the same guy that he's been all night.
I'll tell you what, if he keeps throwing like this, he's going to be facing the New York Yankees pretty soon.
No doubt about that. Look, he's got little sprinkles on the top of his glove too. That's fun. Hadn't noticed that before.
Oh yeah, look at that.
In a backwards K, certainly appropriate.
Right.
One away from a career high for Canuck.
Although he does get a lot of guys swinging though.
That's true. That changeup's been deadly.
Line out from Nessler to Chufo at short. And there's no other way to put it. Aiden Canuck has made it look easy all night tonight in Pittsburgh. He is throwing a no-hit gem through 6 2/3.
And he keeps getting on the mound well in advance of the hitters getting into the box. That ball off the bat of Nessler was hit hard, but just like Doolin earlier in the game, directly at one of the Tigers' middle infielders. Got a pretty good scouting report from this Clemson coaching staff. And Luke Gaffney, what is that? What is that he's dealing with?
That looked like it fell out of the sky. I'm not sure what happened there, but almost looked like some confetti or a streamer of sorts, and Gaffney called time to pick it up. The only thing that has gotten Aiden Canuck out of his rhythm tonight.
Oh yeah, there it is, falling right down, right in the middle of the pitch. Boy, that could have been interesting.
Yeah.
My guess is a helium balloon. Somebody might have let a helium balloon go, and that was the bit that weighed it down, and somehow. What are the odds? What are the odds?
Don't see that every day.
We saw the little moment that you don't see every time you come to the ballpark with the review earlier in the game. That's another one where an act of nature puts a balloon on the field.
You come to Charles L. Cost Field, you never know what you're going to see.
There's perhaps no place in baseball that's more true.
Rumor has it there's been a 16 strikeout performance here that ended in a loss just a year ago.
That is the rumor. I can corroborate that rumor. Both of us can.
1-2, Aiden Canuck absolutely on fire. Oh, gods may be working their magic tonight as well. That city skyline had a Clemson orange tint behind it, didn't it?
No doubt about it. We can look out the windows of the press box here and see a little bit of orange. But the sunset's orange every night, Jason. You can't make that claim every night. It just fits your narrative today.
You got me. Just trying to drive a narrative here, right?
It made good TV. Maybe I shouldn't be so quick to get on you for that.
Well, it's been a good night for the Tigers. 11 hits by the whole team. Have gotten production really from the back half of the lineup. How about Purify and Chufo? The 8-9 hitters together are 4 for 7 on the night for Clemson. Now Canarella up the middle. Kendro bobbles and Doolin tries to turn it. And good job by the Panthers to almost turn the double play despite the hiccup at short from Kendro. They do get the first out at second.
I believe that's 4 double plays that could have been turned by the Panther, or at least opportunities for double plays that have been missed by the Panthers tonight. That ball's hit hard off the bat of Canarella, right at Kendro, though. Doesn't come up with it cleanly, and obviously we've seen the speed of Canarella throughout the season and able to beat it, hustling down to the first base line. Doolin does his best, and it was a close play at first, but
talked about the production from the back of Clemson's lineup. Their 2-3-4 hitters are 0 for 8. If I had told you that coming into the ball game, what do you think, Mitch? Different story?
I would have probably expected a different score up on the scoreboard, but obviously you give your credit, no doubt, to that. Really 6, 8, and 9 hitters for Clemson have done most of the damage, and with Jarrell, Purify, and Chufo, and obviously Canuck, we know what he's done tonight. And anytime you get good starting pitching and the bottom of your lineup is hitting well, that's normally a recipe for success too.
Well, and managers are oftentimes different in the way they approach the lineup these days as well. You know, we say the 8-9 hitters, but Purify has the second best average on the team, and he's in the 8th spot.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of more analytical approaches to creating a lineup nowadays. It used to be you could set your watch by, 3 hitters, your best hitter, 4 or 5 are power guys, and then 8, 9 are your worst hitters, but that's certainly not the case on this Clemson team.
Canarella on the move. Doesn't matter. Ball 4 to Pano. 2 aboard, 1 out. So Pano remains hitless. We'll see if Colin Priest is able to notch his first hit of the night. And should note too that while the 2-3-4 hitters do not have a hit, they all have reached base. Pano has now been aboard twice. Priest has been on twice, and Gaffney was hit by a pitch in the last inning. Production really from everywhere in the Clemson lineup, propelling them to this 5-0 advantage here in the 8th inning. Oh, 2 gets away, and runners advance on the wild pitch.
Well, we told you Sakaris has had some issues with control so far this year. He's kind of been demonstrating that so far. Obviously got Canarella to hit a ground ball to his shortstop, but a walk and then a wild pitch there. He's going to have to keep the ball around the zone to stay competitive in this game.
One, 2 count here. tucked him in and fouled back. Zuckerman and Kendro on the left side of the infield, positioned in front of Pano running at second. Only one away in the 8th for the Panthers. Pitch is outside. Priest doing a nice job here, grinding out the at-bat.
You mentioned the shift from Pitt, just something to kind of keep the game within arm's reach. Obviously, it's a 5-run lead, and that feels like a 50-run lead with the way Canuck has been pitching tonight, but see if it pays off.
And tough play, and it gets through the hands of Sakarias, and Colin Priest drives in another Clemson run and gets to first base. Mitch, you were telling me about that push bunt he had in the series against Duke. He wasn't trying to bunt it there, but almost worked the same way.
Yeah, Priest, a big guy, and just not on the same page with that ground ball, and it goes in the books as, I would have to imagine, as a hit, as a single for Priest, but not the hardest hit ball he's hit in his life for sure. Just an awkward situation there between Sakarias and Zuckerman on the left side of the infield.
Small ball continuing to manufacture runs for the Clemson Tigers. Now a 6-0 lead, 12 hits on the night for Clemson. And reminder, we'll pick up tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Mitch and I will be with you again for the second game of the series. Cantwell into foul territory, tracking and catching. Runner's gonna tag. No, Pano will retreat back to third, but Priest did advance to second in the process.
I tell you what, that's great coaching, great base running coaching from Clemson there. Pano tags up at third, the foul pop up to the third base side. Cantwell is able to handle it pretty comfortably, turns and sees Pano kind of taking off towards home and has to throw that way. And meanwhile, coming from first base, Priest tags up a foul pop to the first baseman, and Priest tags up from first and is able to get the second. That is really cool base running, good coaching there from the Clemson staff.
Nick Schnabel.
And if you're Cantwell, you're thinking about all these different things. Okay, if I throw it to second base, if I throw it away, the run scores, or maybe the run scores anyway because the ball's already been caught. You can run at will if you're Pano, but just kind of making defenders think and putting pressure on them. That's what base running can really do for you.
Hard hit grounder to second. Panthers get the third out, but the Tigers add 2 more. Aiden Canuck is throwing a no-hit gem, and he's got 2 innings to go here in Pittsburgh. There has been nothing tonight to get him out of his rhythm. He's been outstanding for Clemson since the first pitch he threw. 12 strikeouts to show for it, and up at 92 pitches. Strike 2 there to Lorenzo Carrier. How much do you think Eric Backage is thinking about a no-hitter scenario here?
Well, I think if you're up here in the broadcast booth, you can think about it a lot. But yes. I think if you're down in that first base dugout, you're not thinking about it. You're not saying anything about it.
You might be thinking about it, but you're certainly not saying.
Definitely not saying anything about it. Certainly.
You're not telling people you're thinking about it.
Baseball folks are a notoriously superstitious bunch, and it's been particularly impressive on a night for Canuck where the fastball velocity has been down a little bit. We've talked about it a little bit, but normally you watch him pitch and you see the radar gun flashing 92, 93. Tonight it's really been upper 80s, maybe touched to 90 once or twice, but still been just as effective, perhaps even more effective as he has been all year and throughout his young career.
Well, Carrier is now just the 3rd base runner the Panthers have had. 3 walks. Canuck has not hit any of the Panther batters. And catches the corner there to Melendez. It's 0-2. Tucked him in, fouled off. They've got Carrier on first from the walk. Could this be the moment the Panthers are able to string something together here in a night when the offense has been quiet? Oh, 2 to Melendez is high. Jaden Melendez, a .214 hitter on the season.
Sebastian Pisacreta getting the start behind the plate tonight, but Jaden Melendez is the Panthers' other regular catcher. Both of those guys have been power threats at certain points in their pit careers. Melendez not so much this season. Pisacreta has kind of filled that void a little bit, but Melendez certainly capable of putting balls over the wall when he connects with them.
And that time Melendez is hit by the pitch from Canuck. And suddenly you've got 2 on for the Panthers. And so the
obviously still unfazed by it. We haven't seen that expression change at all all night, but you gotta wonder if there's a little bit of action in the Clemson bullpen now. You gotta wonder if Eric Bakich starting to think about making a change.
Panthers, meanwhile, insert a pinch hitter here, Jackson Cook, to hit for Jake Kendrow. Cook puts a charge into one, deep left field at the track. Listy is back, and he makes the catch to keep the no-hitter alive for Aiden Canuck. What a play in left field by Dominic Listy.
Dominic Listy, go ahead. I was thinking the same thing off the bat. I mean, he's been used almost exclusively in a pinch hit role for the Panthers this year. Puts a charge into that ball like he has so many times coming off the bench, but what a play by Dom Listy out in left field.
Really impressive stuff from the senior outfielder, Dominic Listy. These are when those 6-0 outs feel very important, right? Like you said, maybe if they're not speaking about it in the dugout and on the field, you can tell they're thinking about it.
Well, I think whenever you see a no-hitter or a perfect game or any kind of pitching performance like that, there's always some sort of defensive moment that kind of saves it at a certain point. It often happens late in the game. And boy, if Canuck continues, he's well over 100 pitches at this point, but if he continues to pitch the way he has, I think we'll point to that Dominic Listy leaping catch as that moment in the performance where it's like that was a make or break moment, and
yeah,
Dominic Listy made it.
What a big spot this is here. 2-2 to David Padano, who he's already struck out 3 times tonight. In the dirt, gets away, and Carrier comes in to score. So the Panthers, for the first time tonight, bring one around to make it 6-1.
Well, we talked about how Clemson was having to work really hard for the runs they scored early on in this game. Pitt has had to work about 3 times as hard to get this one run across, but Carrier at third base takes advantage of one of the very few mistakes that Canuck has made tonight. Changeup got in the dirt and got away from Jarrell. Brings the run home for the Panthers, who maybe have a little bit of life in this inning, finally starting to work away and wear down Canuck.
And Padano might want that one back. Probably just swung at ball 4, trying to protect the plate, and Canuck has been very effective tonight. Now another 3-2, 1 on, 1 out. And Padano looks at ball 4. I think a lot of the Clemson fans here maybe thought that caught the corner for strike 3. And now Eric Bakich gonna come have a conversation with Canuck. 111 pitches into his night. Mentioned a lot of Clemson fans making the trip up tonight, and I expect that they will give him quite the ovation for his performance, as frustrated he may be as the way it ended.
Boy, that last pitch did not miss by much. Holy cow, that was a heck of a take from Padano in a full count in a spot where you need to get on base, get some base runners, get some runs around. Man, can't say enough about what that guy, Aiden Canuck, has done tonight. We'll see if he comes out of the game yet.
Yeah, long meeting.
Still discussing things. Eric Bakich, home plate umpire Greg Street.
And Gregory Street may be saying, is he coming out or not, Coach? Perhaps trying to buy some time for the bullpen, whoever it may be next for Clemson.
There it is. We've got a body out of the bullpen at long last. Bullpen had been working for a couple innings, but still needed a few extra moments before the official call was made.
Well, a tip of the cap to Aiden Canuck. 7 1/3 of no-hit baseball. And his night here tonight in Pittsburgh gets a pat from Eric Bakich. And one of those special performances where I think you see even some Panther fans giving him a round of applause for what he achieved on this Thursday night in Pittsburgh.
Man, this is something special, and you saw fans of both teams giving him an ovation as he comes off just a moment ago, and that's one of something special about the game of baseball, is that even if you're a fan of a certain team, when you see a performance like that from an opponent, you have to appreciate it. I mean, it's something special to see.
You can still see the frustration in his eyes too, huh?
As expressionless as he's been, you can kind of see, absolutely. He was not far away from taking it the distance.
He certainly doesn't seem happy about 7 1/3 with no hit ball.
Not at all. Not at all. He's a competitor. There's no doubt about that.
Sure is. Meanwhile, the new pitcher for Clemson, Joe Allen, hit Caden Doolin. The first pitch he threw. Loaded bases for Luke Cantwell. And so, interesting scenario here for Joe Allen, where as dominant as Clemson has been tonight, Pitt does not have a hit, but they have the bases loaded with their best hitter at the plate. And if Luke Cantwell were to put a charge into this one and homer, suddenly we've got a 6-5 ball game just like that.
Boy, we were taking a moment to soak in the performance that Aiden Canuck put on, and all of a sudden, this game has a chance to be turned on its head. I mean, Luke Cantwell, just like Canuck was, immediately getting ready after each pitch. Cantwell's doing that right now. He just looks to be dialed in, and Joe Allen struggling to find the zone a little bit.
Hard hit to second, Purify flips it to Chufo and turns the double play. Clemson Tigers doing a little. So a couple changes. Mentioned Jackson Cook was used as a pinch hitter for Kendro. Forces some changes to the infield for Pitt. That's Gavin Miller there. He's now at second base, which slides Caden Doolin over to short. Here's Jacob Jarrell. Very productive night for him. Started off with 2 singles, then a solo shot to right field in the 6th. Gerald, the 6th hitter in the Clemson lineup, and talked earlier about the production they have gotten from the back half of the lineup. 8 hits from the 6 through 9 hitters in the order for the Tigers. Make it 9 as Jacob Gerald has himself a 4-hit night.
Jacob Gerald seeing beach balls right now, no matter who Pitt has thrown at him or what pitch it's been. He's been pretty locked in all night. Had a couple singles up the middle early in the game. Obviously, the backside home run, and then sneaks another single through the 5-6 hole to the left side. He's been really, really productive in the bottom half of that Clemson lineup.
Clemson as a team hitting 13 for 36 on the night. That is a .361 team average in this game for the Tigers. Just an all-around, well-played game of baseball by Clemson here tonight. Now an off-balance swing from Crichton. Gets behind 0-2.
Crichton looking fastball there. That off-speed pitch looked like a slider from Tchaikovsky. Brought him to his knees. It's a heck of a pitch. Catches Crichton looking for something that wasn't there.
Noah Tchaikovsky, the right-hander, 2 seasons for him at St. Bonaventure. But he is a Pittsburgh native. Played with Jake Kendrow at Norwin High School. Not far from here in Oakland. Crichton continuing to fight, down 0-2. With Gerald over at first. And good take from Crichton. One-two, driven into left field. Jack Crichton has his second base knock of the night. As the Tigers with 2 on, nobody out, trying to pad that lead here in the 9th.
With the bottom of this Clemson lineup continuing to do damage. Gerald with the softly hit single through the 5-6 hole, and then Crichton smokes this ball into left field. And hit it so hard, Mike Bell needs to talk about it with his young pitcher, Tchaikovsky.
And so Mike Bell may be trying to buy some time here, have a conversation with Tchaikovsky, trying to get him back on track while he gets some arms loose in the bullpen. Caden Fulton is up for the Panthers in the pen, the right-hander there. Jackson Cook hanging out with the pitchers.
Hey, listen, as a pinch hitter, it's a tough life to be a pinch hitter. I don't want to disparage that in any way, but once your pinch hit job is done, it's done. And hey, why not go hang out in the bullpen if you're Jackson Cook?
Hey, you've got a point. Go ahead and enjoy the rest of your night with your buddies, right?
No doubt about it. And I think Cook's got to be a little bit upset that the ball didn't leave the yard, but he hit it well, and
he did.
You know, if you keep barreling up the ball, good things are going to happen. So
that's right.
Not too bothered by the end result if the process is good.
So Tchaikovsky continues on the hill. Back-to-back singles for Clemson to begin the 9th inning. The Tigers team, if you're just joining us, has held the Panthers hitless all night. It started with 7 1/3 from Aiden Canuck. Saw Joe Allen come in to keep the no-hitter intact, and The Tigers in the bottom half of this inning will have an opportunity to complete the no-hit night. And the offense has done their part with 14 hits as a team, 6 runs to show for it, and a 5-run lead. Looking to add some more here. And looks like Eric Bakich wants a word.
Well, you think this game means a lot to Clemson? They're up 6-1.
He made it very clear with us earlier that this game means a lot to Clemson.
Calling an offensive timeout with nobody out, 2 runners on, and a 1-1 count.
You know, I even dared to ask him what would a sweep mean this weekend in terms of your team getting back on track, and he scoffed at the question and said, look, man, we're just trying to go 1-0 tonight. Looking at each day. Yeah, it means a lot to the Tigers.
As coaches are wont to do. I tell you, Al, we're taking it one game at a time.
That's right.
Told us. I mean, he told us he was very explicit about his desire to win this game. He said we will sell out, burn everybody if we have to win this game tonight, and then do the same thing again Friday and Saturday.
Purify trying to get a bunt down. Did Pisacreta catch it? He did, and he throws to Cantwell for the double play, an unorthodox double play by the Panthers, but a big one at that.
I don't know how often you've seen a 2-3 double play. I haven't seen it very much, but
no.
How about the reaction time from Pisacreta?
Well, knew that Pisacreta caught it and went back to first.
And Cantwell may have been, depending on the bunt coverage, may have been perhaps charging in as well to field the bunt. Purify squared pretty early there. That's a play you don't see every day, but a heck of a play by Pisacreta.
Chufo into foul territory, and Luke Cantwell makes the where the Tigers have a chance to seal the no-hitter night, and the Panthers have their last ups.
Yeah, Joe Allen came in a really tough spot. Honestly, after Canuck left, had 2 runners on and then immediately hit the first batter he faced to load the bases. But then got Cantwell, perhaps the Panthers' best hitter, to ground into a double play and escape the inning with only the 1 run done.
Ryan Zuckerman with a .307 batting average on the year. Up and in for ball 1.
Zuckerman, another young player in this game who's turned things around from his freshman year to his sophomore year. Got kind of thrown into the fire and had a lot of playing time in 2024 as a freshman. Played a lot of third base for Pitt and held down that spot. And this year, the numbers are wildly better. They weren't even bad last year as a freshman, but compared to this year, they were very solid. Leads the team in home runs and hitting over 300, as you mentioned. He's been really good at the hot corner and in the middle of the lineup.
Allen got him swinging at strike 3 for the first Clemson out here in the 9th. Tigers as a team
on the Pitt half of that scoreboard.
And we're looking at that number in the middle. 0 hits on the night for the Panthers. And I'll tell you what, Joe Allen has probably never felt more pressure in a 6-1 appearance, right?
With nobody on base and 1
With
out.
Nobody on, you're right.
No doubt about it.
You mentioned that sigh of relief. Up the middle, and Canarella is right there for the 2nd out. The Clemson Tigers are 1 out away from a no-hit ball game.
Boy, it's just been that kind of game for Pitt. They've hit a couple balls hard, but every one of them has been directly at a Clemson defender. Canarella came in a little bit on that line drive and then backed up, and it was able to easily handle it. And Pisacreta, the last hope for the Panthers.
And he has been swinging a hot bat for Pitt. but no Panther bats have been able to execute tonight. 2-0 count here to Pisacreta. Aiden Canuck, the starter, looking on. That one finds the zone, makes it 3-1.
I think Joe Allen's averaging about 3 or 4 deep breaths per pitch at this point. I mean, you would think this is the highest leverage situation he's ever been in. Certainly would be no small feat if they can accomplish what they're primed to do.
And so a walk to Pisacreta, and the way he's been swinging lately, maybe not the worst thing for Joe Allen and Clemson. Instead, you're ending up facing Lorenzo Carrier, who's coming off an injury, and in the 7th spot in the Panther lineup with a .265 average on the season. Panthers now with 5 walks at the plate tonight. So far from a perfect game. Mitch, a lot of walks and a couple hit batters, but again, Clemson in a great spot. They are 1 out away from a no-hitter.
Yeah, you never want to see no hits, but still 1 run allowed. I mean, something has gone wrong. So certainly,
like an asterisk, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, certainly plenty for Eric Bakich to pick at and fix if he feels so inclined, but has been nothing short of outstanding outside of those couple of free bases given up.
And you can tell he's being careful here. He's just walked Pisacreta, now 3-0 count to Carrier. Last thing you want to do in this spot is give the Panthers something they can hit. Now 6 walks on the night taken by the Panthers at the plate.
Well, there's 2 outs, but Joe Allen certainly making things a little bit interesting. Kind of earn a mound visit from his manager here, but got the 2 outs pretty quickly without much issue. Gave up the hard hit, hard contact straight to center field, but 2 straight walks. That'll bring any coach out of the dugout.
And looks like the Tigers will make a change, so it will not be Allen to complete the potential no-hitter. It's going to be Lucas Malstead, one of the best closers in the 8th.
Nothing short of outstanding coming out of an outstanding Clemson bullpen. 15 saves on the year. Good enough to lead the ACC, and Jaden Melendez, heck of a task ahead of him.
1-1 count to start to Melendez. Clemson on the verge of an historic night in the history of their program. Canuck and Allen continue to watch. 2 pitchers that got him to this point. 7 1/3 from Canuck. And Panthers are down to their final strike. Lucas Malstead throws the pitch. Melendez skies it. Chufo at short. Makes the catch. And for the first time since 2009, it's a Clemson Tigers combined